character development. People say you get into a relationship and then you get character development. No, trust me. Being in a committed relationship helps you to develop your character, and it also helps you to develop emotionally, to have emotional intelligence. When you're in a relationship, there's so many things you have to deal with every single day with your spouse or with your partner or with the person you're in a relationship with, that naturally you must grow. You just must grow. And so you learn how to deal with anger. You learn how to deal with certain things that you may not learn if you're not in a committed relationship. So can it help in your brand? Yes, you need emotional intelligence to grow your brand. It's tough. To grow your brand is a lot of work. Welcome to another conversation about life, love, and money with Hannah G. Today, I'm going to be answering questions. You guys ask me questions, I'm going to answer them. Most of these questions, I usually get them from my Instagram DM, and I want to talk about them. I really just hope we can get to answering all of them today. And so I'm going to start with the first question. I have a few questions here, but it looks like I had more questions. Angela? Yeah. Are there any questions in there that we can put in this jar?
Yeah, we have a couple.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, 3 more questions. All right, great. So I'm just going to do this little shaky thing and then pull out one question and then let's see how that goes. All right, let's see. Who's the first boy to be picked up? Okay, this little baby here. Let's see what you all are asking. Oh, so this one says, can I share my love life on social media? Okay. And this is a question I get a lot, by the way, that I am a shy person, I'm a private person, I don't want to share things about my love life, I don't want to share things about my relationship on social media. So can I share my love life on social media? And the question I want to ask you is, what do you want to do? Do you want to share your love life on social media? And the reason I say this is it has to be entirely up to you, because you want to ask yourself a question. What do I want to share? Remember, on social media, you only share what you want to share. People will never know the things that you don't share, right? So when you see yourself sharing things on social media, always tell yourself, it's because I want to share this. So I want to ask you a question. What do you want to share on social media? Number 2, why do you want to share that stuff on social media? For what reason? So that what? Are you sharing it so that you can inspire another person? Are you sharing it so that you can showcase another aspect of your life? For example, I like to say, as a personal brand, you have very many things to yourself. You probably are a hiker. You are a mother, you love traveling, you like coffee. So again, you are a person, and we want to humanize personal brands. We want to humanize brands. Even right now, corporate brands, they want to humanize. They want to show us that they are human beings that have feelings, that love other people, that care for other people. So question is, for what reason? So if you want to come so that you can connect with your audience, because there's somebody who would want to connect with you simply because you're married. Right? So they're going to come to you for work simply because you're married, and they feel that if they come to you, you are the best person to help them because you will understand their situation. There's another person who will come to you simply because you love the fine things in life. So again, if you want to share that for that purpose, that's okay. But the question is, what do you want to share and why do you want to share that? So that what? Because you want to remember that social media is a place to be social, but also social media is a double-edged sword. It can be really, really good if you use it good. It can really be bad for your relationship if you use it bad. So ask yourself, what am I comfortable sharing? Let me share it. Why am I sharing it? It's always about the goal. So that we do what when we see your love life on social media. So again, that's what I'm going to say here about that question. Can I share my love life on social media? What do you want to share? Why do you want to share? So that what? I hope that answers. Okay, good. Are we ready for the second question, for another question? Let's see. On to another question. And this one is, let's see. Okay, this one says, how can being help your brand? Yeah, so the person is asking, how can being committed in a relationship help in your brand? I think what they're trying to say is, can being committed in a relationship help in your brand? Now, yes. In fact, yes. I believe that being in a relationship can really help to propel your brand or to even help you as you grow in your journey of personal branding. And I'll tell you why. When somebody is in a committed relationship, there is some sort of stability. There's a sense of stability that a person has. You need stability for you to grow your personal brand. And you can find stability in a committed relationship. The other thing is what? Maybe relatability. Yes. If you are in a committed relationship and your audience are in relationships or they aspire to be in relationships, then you become relatable to them. They see you as a person who can understand them and who can connect with them to help them better in whatever it is they are going through, and even to be the one to serve them better. What else? Emotional intelligence. Oh my goodness. Being in a relationship, and I think I've had people say, what have people been saying? That, what is this thing, that the phrase that people are using about relationships, that when you get into a relationship, I'm forgetting, character. Yes, character development. People say you get into a relationship and then you get character development. No, trust me, being in a committed relationship helps you to develop your character, and it also helps you to develop emotionally, to have emotional intelligence. When you're in a relationship, there's so many things you have to deal with every single day with your spouse or with your partner or with the person you're in a relationship with, that naturally you must grow. You just must grow. And so you learn how to deal with anger. You learn how to deal with certain things that you may not learn if you're not in a committed relationship. So can it help in your brand? Yes, you need emotional intelligence to grow your brand. It's tough. To grow your brand is a lot of work. So again, being in a relationship can help you with that ingredient of emotional intelligence for you to be able to grow your brand. What else? I'm going to say this, consistency. Now, whenever I'm talking about personal branding, I say you must be consistent, telling us the same message every day, every single day, repeating it so that it gets in our heads what exactly you do. Now, in a relationship, remember we said committed relationship. What happens in a committed relationship? Consistency. Same person, same language, probably staying in the same house, sleeping in the same bed. Consistency. They love black coffee, so you're serving them black coffee every day, or the other way around, they're serving you black coffee every other day. And so there's a pattern, there's consistency. So can you, being in a relationship, help you as you grow your brand? Of course, you learn to be consistent in a relationship. It helps you to become consistent in your brand. I think that's a good one. The other thing is what? Growth mindset as well. Character development, yes, when you get into a relationship, you must grow whether you like it or not. When you're in a committed relationship that you want it to work, then you must always find ways to grow. What does that mean for your personal brand? That if you can grow in that relationship, committed relationship, it means you have lessons, you're learning things about how to grow also in your business and also in your personal brand. So yes, in a committed relationship, you can learn, you can have growth mindset that helps you to grow your personal brand as well. What else? I think I would say also, because you get diverse perspectives. When you are in a committed relationship, listen, the other person is very different from you. Their personality is also different. Whenever I do personality tests for people, we talk about one person being a red, another person being a green, another one being a yellow, another one being a blue and a green, right? So you having different personalities, it means the person is thinking differently from you. There's a book I read, or rather I keep reading, called Surrounded by Idiots. Now, Surrounded by Idiots is about how to deal with your team members, and also as a leader, how to deal with the people who don't think like you. So when you're in a committed relationship, you are with a person who does not think like you. They don't like what you eat. They don't, you may not think the same way. So you are different. And so just having that diverse perspective in a relationship is a key ingredient for you to even appreciate the diverse perspectives in another, in your personal branding journey. So yes, that's very helpful. And then what else can I say? Long-term vision. Remember, the question was about committed relationship, right? So in a committed relationship, it means you're here for the long haul, and that means you have a long-term vision for that relationship. Now, when you get into your personal branding journey, you will realize that you must have a long-term vision for your brand. So yes, being in a committed relationship is going to help you so much with the ingredients you need and the lessons you need to grow your personal brand and to have a big and strategic vision for your brand. I hope that answers it. All right. Question number 3. Let's see. What are you people asking so that I can answer the questions, the ones that I can be able to answer? Okay. So there's a question here and it says anonymous. Okay. So it says, what boundaries can I set between personal and public life in the context of love and marriage with my personal brand? Okay. So I guess this question is asking about boundaries. And again, what I can say is, what is comfortable for you? What is comfortable for you? That's what I want to ask. Because people are going to scrutinize every single little bit of your relationship and of your love life and your marriage when you put it out there in public. They will. What do they say? There's also something that has been going around saying what? Oh, God. Maybe I will talk about it later. But just an aspect of... we are your in-laws. No, yeah. I think they say that. Like when you post your love life on social media, they say that they're your in-laws. Or rather, so they'll be scrutinizing everything you're doing, which is true. So now, if you've decided to put your love life and your marriage life out there in public, I just want you to know that is going to be scrutinized. And you've put it out there, so you should expect for people to comment and to ask questions and to even give opinions which you did not even ask for. So, if you look at that and you say, you know what, I'm comfortable for somebody to comment that my husband looks like this. I'm comfortable for somebody to comment something about even the way I'm dressing when I'm posting my things on social media. So if you're comfortable with that, then post it. If there's something you're not comfortable, if people say something negative about it, because they will, then you probably don't want to post that. So ask yourself what is comfortable, because people are gonna scrutinize and they're going to judge as well. Right? So again, the other thing you want to consider when it comes to boundaries is the level of exposure you want. Yeah? Because one platform gives you this much exposure, another platform gives you this much exposure. Now, if you're on Instagram and your profile or account is not private, just that's just a little bit more exposure that you're giving yourself. Right? So if it's public, you will definitely expect people to comment publicly about it. And it doesn't matter what you post. Someone might look at your shoe and decide they hate it, and they'll comment about that. And yet your post was not about shoes. Another person might comment how your wife is way bigger in size than you. Are you comfortable with that? Another person might just comment how, you look polished and the other partner doesn't look polished. You might be eating steak, the other person is eating chicken, and the person asks, are you the man in the relationship? Because they think the man should be eating the steak, right? So I want you to know that you want to ask yourself, what are you okay with? And even when it comes to your offline brand and you're going to events with your spouse, with your husband, with your wife, with your children, you want to ask yourself, do you want that level of exposure? Are you going to be able to deal with it? So again, ask yourself that when it comes to boundaries. And then I think also boundaries means, what are you sharing with your friends? What are you sharing with your coworkers? What are you sharing with your colleagues, your business partners about your love life and your marriage? What do they say about a secret? A secret between two people becomes not a secret. I don't know whether it's two people. I don't know if you really want it to be a secret, you probably want to keep it to yourself. If you really want it to be a secret, you probably just want to find one person who you can share with, because once it's out of that boundary, then it no longer becomes a secret. So, and I've seen this even in churches, guys in churches, you must stop this, where you go and share with somebody in church about something, about your relationship and your marriage, and they say they are going to pray for you. And when they go to share with another brother, they go and say, hey, we must pray for Sister Hannah. Sister Hannah is going through this and this, So they're saying they're praying for you, but look at what is happening. They're going to share about Sister Hannah. And then the other person goes and shares about the other person in the name of praying for you. So again, you want to really just know who are you talking to? What things are you discussing with your pastor, with your prayer partners, with your friends and with your family about your relationship and your love. That's a boundary. And then also, again, you're going to, as a personal brand, as you grow your brand, I always say you must expose yourself to media, because media is a great platform. But also you must know the boundaries. Like when you're invited to these media houses, you must know that station, what does it talk about? Do they get very intrusive? Because if they get very intrusive and you don't want to share those little bits of your life, you might want to decline that request. So that's something you want to consider. That's a boundary that you can consider as a personal brand, to say that I don't want to go to this interview because this guy asks very deep questions, which I'm not really ready to broadcast and to talk about. So you want to do that. And that's the power of no. It's called the power of no. Just knowing what to say no to and what to say yes to. And always also remember, by the way, it's still up to you. Even when you go to those media stations, they may not like you when you don't answer the questions. They may not call you again. But remember, this is your life and your brand. So if there are things that you're not comfortable sharing, just know that it's okay for you not to share that kind of stuff with the people that are asking you questions. Then the other thing you want to know is it okay for the both of you in the relationship? Because the relationship is between two people. So is the other person okay with you sharing stuff on social media and in public? If they're not, then it definitely is going to be a source of conflict in your relationship. Are you happy to deal with that conflict, or is that something that you want to avoid? So again, it's a discussion. What is the other person okay with you sharing? Yeah. And then again, remember, being vulnerable is not broadcasting. So even as you're being vulnerable and sharing about your relationship and your love life on social media, just you're not doing it for the purposes of broadcasting. Have a reason for it. Are you doing it to inspire another person, to encourage another person, or to teach another person? So again, look at that and see those as boundaries. And also, don't use your social platforms as a conflict resolution. No. Resolving a conflict happens behind closed doors. It doesn't happen in the public. So if you want to go in public and talk about your relationship, may need to attack the other person to see it as, can these other social in-laws come and help me deal with? They will not help you deal with that problem. So again, solving conflicts happens behind those closed doors when you're having those conversations with the person. So don't really go to social media to publicly resolve your conflicts. It doesn't work that way. So again, with your person, have shared goals about what you can share and what you can't share. And I think that will be a good way for you to know what kind of boundaries you must set for your relationship. How does that sound? Okay, great. Let's see what we have here. And I think we could probably answer them all because we have, a few more to go. So one more question that I want to answer is, oh goodness, I think this one is a personal attack. Let's see how this goes. And somebody is asking, okay, I think this is a test of being vulnerable. Somebody is asking me, can you share a personal story about overcoming a challenge in your marriage and what you learned? Okay. Can you share a personal story? Now, this one wants me to be vulnerable. So I'll make sure I'm being vulnerable and I'm not broadcasting. Right. So I can definitely think about a lot of stories because I've been married this is the 17th year. We're doing the 17th year now. So I can think about a lot of things that I've learned in my marriage, a lot of them, and a lot of personal things that have happened, and the challenges that I have overcome and the lessons I've learned. But I think for now, I want to share the one for, which one should I share? Oh, yes. Having different goals and expecting the other person to come in and meet that goal. So I'll talk about a goal I had probably many years ago when we got married, and I had a goal to just really grow intimacy and my relationship with my husband. And I came up with this thing and I put it on my vision board, and I said, for me to really grow intimacy, then I want to put a schedule to be having dinners every Thursday. So since we got married, our dinner date, me and my husband, used to be Thursdays. So it would be Thursday with every Thursday. But then I realized I was the one who kept the calendar, and I'm the one who kept reminding my husband that, remember, on Thursday we have dinner. We are doing it for so many years, for so many weeks, but it's like I'm the one who keeps reminding him that I want to have that dinner with him. And the reason I want to have that dinner with him is because for me, one of my love languages is having conversations and spending time with the other person. And so because of that, dinners were very important to me, because I want to spend that 2 hours or 3 hours with him, away from the children, away from work, so that we can talk and have a conversation. I love that. That is love for me, But you see, he's different. For him, that's not really his love language. It's probably something else. And another thing, And so for me, because it was my goal, I had to make sure I'm the one reminding all the time. But guess what? And that was not a problem. It only became a problem when I started throwing tantrums, because I have to remind him, And so I said, I'm not going to remind him that we're having dinner this Thursday. First Thursday, I don't remind him, the dinner doesn't happen. Second Thursday, I don't remind him, it doesn't happen, because he doesn't remember that there was supposed to be dinner. And now, the more he doesn't remember, the more I'm throwing tantrums. Because he comes, he finds me mad. He's wondering why I'm mad. What's making me mad? What's making me mad is because we didn't do dinner, but he didn't even remember that we needed to do this Thursday dinner, because it was my idea, and I'm the one who always keeps reminding. And by the way, he enjoys. It's not like he doesn't enjoy that dinner when we have the dinner. He enjoys the dinner. It's not a problem. But it's my goal to grow intimacy. He has his other goals to grow intimacy. This is my goal. And so for some reason, I put it on him to become his goal. But it wasn't his goal. Or rather, probably it was his goal, but it wasn't his way of meeting the goal. Maybe that's how I should say it. It wasn't his way of meeting that goal or achieving that goal. But for me, it was my number one way to achieve that goal. So again, I'm here thinking he should. He's here wondering, why are you getting so mad about this thing? By the way, to cut that long story short, that dinner does not happen on Thursdays anymore. We probably need to come up with another day of having dinner or another way of doing this intimacy thing, because it got to a place where I said, I'm not going to remind. What lesson have I learned? I've learned that we all have different ways of meeting different goals, so many ways to kill a rat. And so if it's my way of doing it, then why shouldn't I continue doing it without throwing tantrums? And that really has been a lesson for so many other things, that sometimes we project our things on the other person, and we want the other person to think like us. We want the other person to do what we're doing. It doesn't work like that in relationships, And that has translated even into me, how I am with my staff members, with my partners, with the people, business relationships, that we're different. We're different. They don't have to do the things the way I do them. They don't have to think the way I think. But we have to find a common ground and to see, what do I need to make this work? And the other person play his part as well. I hope that answers your question. That's my personal story. I have so many personal stories. Maybe in another episode, I will answer that question. Okay, can we see another question as well? Good. I hope that was helpful. So this question is, this one is, does who I marry matter when it comes to success in a business? Yes, a big yes. I won't even repeat that question, or maybe I should, for the person who didn't hear. Does who I marry matter when it comes to success? I think what they're asking is, does it matter who I marry when it comes to success of me in business and in my personal brand? Yes, and that's a big yes. Who you marry matters a lot in whether you're going to succeed in business, in your personal branding journey, or not. And I'll tell you why. Because what do you need for you to succeed in business? You need emotional support. If you get married to somebody who does not support you emotionally, you may not get that a lot. You might start looking for it in your partners or in your colleagues, and it might not be the same. So it does matter. Because you need this ingredient of emotional support, you probably want to find somebody who can support you emotionally. What else? Shared values. Shared values matters a lot. Can you imagine you have values of kindness, right? And the other person has values of something that is totally different or doesn't even have that as a value. You don't have shared values, and then you guys are together. How are you going to succeed in your personal brand and in your business if you're married to a person who does not support integrity and honesty? And yet this is a person who you are with every single day, sharing the things that you're going through, sharing your wins and your losses. Now, this is a person who you go and tell them that you got into a corrupt deal, and they're like, yeah, take it, right? Now, if your values are integrity, how do you think that's going to play out, right? So again, those kind of things. And also teamwork and collaboration. This is your person. That means you're collaborating and you're becoming team members in something. So if the person does not really want to collaborate with you, is not a team player, it might be very difficult for you to succeed in your business and in your personal brand. What else? Your network is your net worth. Now, the person brings his own network and you bring your own network. And together you have a very big network that can really, really help you to build your business and to be successful. Now, if you marry somebody who does not care about relationships and does not have any networks, how is he going to support you when you're trying to grow your personal brand? So again, it matters who you marry when it comes to you succeeding. What else? Financial stability. It matters, and it matters a lot. And the reason I'm saying this is, if you marry a person who really you don't have goals to succeed financially, you don't have shared goals to succeed financially, and yet your business, it's a business, it's not a non-profit, and so you want to succeed financially, how are you going to receive this kind of support from the other person? Am I saying marry financially stable people? No. But marry people who have goals to succeed financially as well, because in your business, you want to succeed financially so that you guys can grow together and make this thing work. There's a story I like to tell that when I got married, I was employed. And for me to know that it was time for me to leave employment and to start my own business, I had to get to a place where my husband could, because somebody asked me a question one time, how did you know it was the right time to jump and get into your own business? Because businesses have a lot of challenges. So for me, the thing that helped me to jump is because my husband now could pay my rent. Yeah? He could take care of the rent and could take care of my food. So I knew that at least I'm not going to sleep outside and I will have food to eat for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. That way, I can focus on growing this thing, which might not make me money in the first 3 months or the first 6 months. So again, financial stability, yes, the person you marry, it does matter if you want to be financially stable and if you want to succeed in your business. All right, the questions keep coming in and we have a few more questions to answer, probably 3 more. Let's see what you guys are asking. I hope this one is not very personal. You're getting me to become very vulnerable. Now, let me see this one. So this one says, so how do you navigate the balance between personal relationships and in marriage and professional aspirations within your brand? How do you navigate the balance? Okay, I think what they are asking is, so you're married, you're in a relationship, how do you navigate the balance of you also growing professionally? I think that's what they're asking. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. So you are in a relationship and you also want to grow professionally. So make sure these two are not competing with each other. It should not be a competition. And the minute the person you're in a relationship with feels like it's a competition, thinking, oh, I want to grow, I want to be a boss babe, or I want to be the person who's traveling everywhere, then it becomes a conflict, a source of conflict. So the thing I would say is with the person that you are in a relationship with, make sure there's honest communication and ongoing communication and regular communication with that person so that they know, first of all, what you're doing And so that they know you're not just staying in the office to avoid being with them. Does that make sense? So in fact, the thing I like to say is, if you are in a relationship and the person is probably traveling too much or working too much, or you're thinking they're in the office for late hours, always try to tell yourself, and I think whenever I say this, people tell me I'm too soft, always try to tell yourself that they're not doing this to intentionally hurt me. Yeah, they're not staying in the office late to intentionally hurt me. They're not traveling or working too hard to intentionally hurt me. So first say that to yourself, especially if you believe the person is for you, and they're routing for you. So that now you can regularly have communications and regular check-ins with that person. Just check in regularly. This is what I'm doing. How are you doing? So that they know they're not forgotten, and so that they know that you're not taking your work to be more important than the relationship that you have with them. That's what I would say. And then also, the other thing I would say about balancing is set your priorities right. And whenever I do this, I help people do something I call the wheel of life. What is important to you right now in your current situation? Now, if you growing a relationship with your children is very important, then you must allocate time for that. If you right now growing your solopreneurship is very important, you must allocate time for that. You can never have a 50-50 balance. And this is something I will always say. When they talk about work-life balance, I like more to talk about work-life integration, because those two are important. And there is not one time that you'll have 50 here and 50 here. It can never be a perfect balance. So you must realize that sometimes some things are going to require more of you than other times. Even just in my own personal example, there are some times that my child needs me to take them to the clinic, to take them. Like now, my daughter, when she was taking out her tooth 2 days ago, she broke a little bit of her tooth. We're still deciding whether she actually broke it or there was something growing on top that came off. I'm not sure. We'll find out that. But again, I must allocate time to say that this is something that I must allocate time to take her to the clinic, to take her to see the dentist. Now, if that means that a coaching client has to suffer for those 2 hours for me to take care of that, then they just might as well have to suffer. So again, what is important for you right now? What must you pay attention to? And it's very good for you to really not guilt trip yourself and to think that things must be, my work is performing at this, my marriage must perform. There's no balance. It can never be a balanced scale. So sometimes your work might require more from you than your family. And sometimes your family might require more from you than your work. So learn to tell when those times are, so that you can balance it. But we're not saying balance it 50-50. So that's going to be very important. And also, again, I think it's important for you to really just think about boundaries, think about shared goals. It's important for you to schedule time. By the way, this is very important. Scheduling time. And it's good for you to use a planner and to use a calendar. Because as you grow, especially in your profession, you find that if you don't schedule time for things, they don't happen. There's a couple that was telling me, okay, I found that weird, so I'm not going to try it. But there's a couple that was telling me that they actually schedule time to have sex. And I'll tell you why they schedule this. Because they are busy. In fact, they are so busy, and they are so busy, especially on social media, that sometimes they find themselves responding to comments way late in the night. They have clients who are all over the world, and so they find themselves responding to these kind of things, and they might forget, and the husband might forget, oh my God, my wife needs me. The wife might forget, my husband needs me, and so right now I need to be concentrating on this. So they actually schedule time. I don't want you to do that. I don't know if I would do that. I find it a bit creepy. But they actually schedule time to have sex because it must happen, right? And sometimes if they don't schedule it, just like the way they schedule to go and meet a client, sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, that's probably way too much, but I'm just saying that for you to really just balance all these things, you might have to schedule time for some things that you do in your relationship. So that's going to be very important. And also it's very important for you to seek support, because sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? It can be overwhelming at work. And if you're the person who doesn't know how to delegate, you may never have time for your children or your husband or your wife. You may never have time for that. So again, get to a place where you are comfortable to let another person take care of something at the office, go for a meeting on your behalf, learn how to delegate so that you can spare some time to go and do something or minister or, just be there for your family. That's what I would say. And also the other thing for you to balance, I think self-care is going to be very important. This is for you as a man and also as a woman. Just schedule time to have your me time and time for yourself, just away from everybody else. That's really going to help you to see, where am I at? What do I need to be focusing on? What is falling through the cracks? What is working, what is not working. So I think that's important. So again, regular check-ins, self-care, all that's very important, and scheduling time. I think that's really going to help you to navigate the balance between personal relationships and marriage and professional aspirations within your brand. Yeah. Okay. 2 more. Let's see what you got here for us. For me, let me see. Okay, good. So this one is a good one. Now, this is a question I get a lot. Should I talk about what I make in terms of money? Should I talk about it on social media, what I make? And again, I will go back to saying or asking you a question. Why do you want to talk about it? What is the relevance? So that what? Okay, so if you want to talk to people on social media about how much money you make, there are going to be pros and there are going to be cons. So are you talking about it to inspire another person? Are you talking about it because it's educational content? Now, those are the pros. If you're talking about how much money you make on social media so that people can see you as a transparent person and as an authentic person to help propel and to grow your brand, then okay, that might work. If you're talking about it so that you can inspire another person who's not making money, to inspire them and to tell them they can make money in something, like me, I love to talk about monetizing your brand. So if you're talking about what you make so that you talk to people about how they can monetize their brand and to inspire them, then that's okay. Now, the other thing is what? If you're talking about it for educational content, right? So that you're continuously educating people. Maybe you're a money advisor. Maybe you're a real estate agent. Maybe you're an investor in stocks and you want to advise people on the many ways they can make money. And you're telling them, hey, I invested $100 and I made $200. If that's what you want to do for educational purposes and content, then go ahead and do that. But you must know that there are disadvantages to it because, of course, there's going to be privacy concerns. Yeah, there's going to be privacy concerns. When people know how much you make, then bordering privacy. So again, you ask another question. Are people honest when they talk about how much they make? Some people are not. Some people even say they're making that much so that you can buy their course. So again, you want to think about that. So when you go out there saying exactly how much you make, you want to know that it really just borders on your privacy concerns. And then also you're going to be judged. By the way, people who have money get judged a lot. You must know that. People who have money get judged a lot. So when you go out there showcasing how much money you make, which house you live in, your car, the places that you travel, and the money you're spending, just there's going to be a lot of shaming. So before you go, just there's going to be a bit of judgment. So before you talk about what you make, just remember that that's going to be a con. And also it might also impact professionally negatively on you. So it might impact you negatively when it comes to your professional because, again, there's some professions that don't want you to share how much they pay you. So if you go talk about it, just it might affect you badly in your brand. Also, at the same time, some people in your same profession might start saying, why are you making this much and we're not making this much? So if you're ready for that kind of impact, then you want to go ahead and share about what you make. I hope that was helpful. One more, last one. And I hope this last one is a good one. Let's see. Oh no, all questions are good, sorry. But I hope it's like a thought-provoking question, this one. Let me see. Oh, this is again another personal attack. Okay. So now this one's again, they want me to be vulnerable. So they're asking me, Hannah, do your values, it's not very personal, but yes, it is. Okay. So they're asking, Hannah, do your values on relationships affect your personal identity as a brand? Do your values on relationships affect your personal identity? Yeah. Of course, they do. And they do. Why do they do? Because I have my own core values or other principles that I live by when it comes to the people I am with, the relationships I'm building, the people I interact with. I have some things that I hold on to, and I say these are my guiding principles. And so, yes, they do affect my identity as a brand because they really talk about authenticity, because as a person, I want people to be themselves and to be authentic. So the kind of relationships I build, I want the other person also to be wanting, to be authentic, and also transparent. So that does affect. And then also the other thing is, for me, I really want to hang out with like-minded individuals. So their values must align with mine for us to hang out. Because what do they say about if you hang out with 5 idiots, they also say you are an idiot or something like that. Okay, by the way, I don't know what that say, how it goes, but they say if you hang out with 5 drunkards, you probably will be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 what, you probably will be. If you hang out with this, you probably will be the 6th one. So again, it affects me because my personal values only ask that I hang out with people who align with those values. That if I find that somebody is dishonest, then what am I doing with them? If I find somebody is not propelling me to grow, then why am I hanging out with them? And again, I've actually demarcated my relationships a lot. I know there are people I hang out with because of the fun of it, because I'm a fun person. I love having fun. So I know there are people I hang out with because they really just bring out that thing in me, and we'll go dancing. I love to dance. We'll go dancing. We'll just go doing fun things, There are people I hang out with because I know that they care so much about their marriages and their relationships. And if somebody does not care about their marriage, I don't know why I would spend 2 or 3 hours with them, because right now in my life, I actually do care about my marriage thriving. So if I find somebody who they're always very negative when it comes to marriage, then I'm going to put them in another category. I might relate with them when it comes to business. Right? I might relate with them when it comes to something else, but maybe not when we're talking about marriage and relationships. So again, like-minded individuals, my values affect a lot the kind of people I want to hang out with, because again, it affects my personal identity. Can you imagine you seeing me hanging out with somebody who's really considered to be, again, the perception. Maybe there's someone you perceive to be a certain way, and then I'm hanging out with them, and then you're wondering, how are these 2 people friends? Again, I might be hanging out with them for a different reason. I'm just saying my values must really align with the people that I'm hanging out with. And of course, trust and credibility, that's important, because for me to trust somebody, then our values must align. And also emotional connection, So our values must align for us to really be emotionally connected, for me to be emotionally connected with this other person. Wow. You guys, these questions are many. And I know you guys have so many more, because I usually just pick a few. And I don't pick like this. I just go by numbers. And I say, these are the questions. Let's answer this. And then, so I'm sure in another episode, we'll answer many more questions. But I hope that has been helpful. This has been Life, Love, and Money with yours truly, Hannah G. This is Hannah Githuke, your personal branding coach.